Good morning, Gnothi Seutan, love, peace, blessing, all manner of abundance and prosperity, health, healing, wellness, uh, everything that is good, peaceful, powerful, helpful, loving, kind, joyful unto you and your family. Something good is going to happen to you today. And I want to talk about your path. We talked about the path, but what I want to talk about today is your path, and the very, very powerful, wonderful idea of the path and your own personal path is your personal path is perfect for you. Therefore, since it is perfect for you, it is perfect in giving you every opportunity, constantly giving you every opportunity to live your own personal, authentic self in every moment. And with your personal path and with you personally, you have like Abraham Hicks says, an emotional guidance system that is absolutely dedicated to and designed to keep you on your path. If you're not sure where your path is, it will lead you to your path. And the way it does that is by something that you always know, and that is your personal feelings. And it's so very, very powerful. It's so very, very powerful that for ages upon ages, influencing entities have been doing their best to influence humankind to be able to control or at least influence human feeling and human emotion. And with that influence, it doesn't really take a lot to cause a change. Just like when you're shooting an arrow or anything like that, it doesn't take much of a change at the place where you shoot from. It doesn't take much of a change where that arrow is launched from to make a huge change in where it's going to hit when it lands, and thus missing the mark, which the scripture, the Holy Bible, mainstream Holy Bible, describes as sin. And so when you think, of an archer firing an arrow, being the example and the metaphor to explain sin, on your path, you are the archer, you are the one shooting the arrow, and if you've been off by a little bit, the idea of sin is that you're simply off your path. It's not that now you deserve to be punished, and because you're a dirty, filthy sinner from the first place who deserves to be eternally punished in an everlasting, never-ending, eternal fire. And that's the influence. That's the influence for your emotion. That's the influence to keep the human race in lifelong fear and torment. But the truth of it is it's that when you miss the mark, it's not going to feel right. Plain and simple. When you're missing the mark of your own personal path, things just aren't going to feel right. They aren't going to feel something. It's going to feel like something is missing. And with something being missing, when we have the wrong idea and we have the wrong mindset, right away we're just going to blame ourselves, and then support the idea that the human race is fallen, and that it just deserves to be destroyed. And thus you can see all these influences. It's amazing how when people get extremely wealthy, next thing they believe is that the human race needs to be exterminated or at least reduced. Of course, they don't believe that they are the one that needs to be reduced. It's everybody else. And it can just show you that the power of that influence of the mind, and what it does to people who end up in influential positions, and it actually uses them to, just advance its own agenda. And it's pretty simple, when you start looking for it. It's very, very easy to see. You can see it, in our past after, especially after Constantine's influence in religion and spirituality. But you can see it because when someone rises to that place, to that place of power, to that place of wealth, when they become a billionaire, next thing you know, they want to exterminate somebody, whether it be a certain race, as Hitler, or it just be a certain age, and you'll be able to see it when you just start looking for it. But it always ends up in a situation where it wants to get rid of humans, and there you can see how this influence is, that when you find its root and you find everything that is attached to its root, it's very, very easy to recognize and to remove yourself from. And thus your path is not to feed anybody else. Your personal destiny and your personal energy, your personal essence, your personal truth, it's your personal source. Your path is for your own best good. It's for you to become your own authentic self, for you to practice with and become a master of all of the energies and the forces of the universe, and be able to use them to create worlds of your own, but to create worlds where there is no harm. And that's what your path is. And so some people recognize the path, and they see it, and then they get stuck, because they think that they have to, that they have to please somebody, that they have to meet all the conditions of a certain path, a certain dogmatic path that they have found, some truth from. Like you may find, relief and truth and guidance from a certain religion, and you start to develop. But then what some of us automatically do is we just completely abandon our own path and turn into a clone of that path, and we become a parrot. We just repeat what we heard, and we try to again just please whatever whatever the requirements are of that path, to be good enough, to make ourselves good enough. But the truth is, we're already good enough, and our personal path is absolutely ours. And when we are on that path, we recognize it because we feel good. So when we're becoming aware of different spiritual practices, we can find them from all different teachings, all different influences, all different disciplines. And what you do is you take them and you apply them to your path. You stay on your path. You don't surrender your path to anybody else. You don't have to please anybody else to be good enough. You already are good enough, and you can remain on your own path. And so as you recognize, because there's as much, heard a very, very powerful teaching one time as an early Christian, and somebody was saying is that when you become a Christian, most people immediately try to become what they thought a Christian was before they became one. So when you looked at Christians before, and you see how they behave, you see what they do, you see how they act, you come to a conclusion in your mind, okay, that's what a Christian is. And then you become one, and that program takes over, and that's who you think you have to become. And next thing you know, a good example is within Christianity itself. Let's say mainstream Christianity, when you read the scriptures, and let's say you're a musician, and you find out that King David was the master musician, and he wrote all the Psalms, and was just a wonderful, wonderful musician. And then you have a lot of times young musicians, they say, wow, David was such a great musician. I want to be just like him. And then next thing you know, if you're a male musician wanting to be like that David, who had hundreds upon hundreds of wives, next thing you know, you have all sorts of problems with your relationships, just like he did. And so you started on the path wanting to be a fantastic musician, wanting to use your musical gift to increase your spirituality and the spirituality and worship and dedication of others. But because you decided to submit and commit yourself to someone else's path, next thing you know, you're stuck in the same trap they were. And so your path is personal. It's not to copy anybody else. It's to receive Christ consciousness and to be able to manifest your own personal being on your own personal path. So your path is yours. It isn't meant to copy anybody else's. Every teaching and spiritual discipline that you come across is an example for you to follow for yourself personally, but never to copy anyone else. You can obviously recognize strengths in other people. You can find out, what they did to acquire that strength, but it is never to submit your own personality to copy and become their personality. And you will always know when this is happening, because it simply will not feel good. It'll feel like something's wrong. And then that's your instant indicator. Whoops, I'm leaving my path and I am getting on and following someone else's. So it's a very, very easy way to make sure that you are on your own personal path. Love, peace, blessing, all manner of abundance and happiness and prosperity and wealth unto you and your family. Shalom, Genothi Seutan, Namaste. Something good is going to happen to you today. Bless you.